uh, it has been saddening that situations to do with murder and taxis has been common. Now, when you look at this case of Isili, it has come out clear that the two girls and the mother were killed by somebody they trusted, a taxi driver that had been serving them for some time. However, the reality is that this man was a criminal because he ran from Ethiopia after having killed a wife and he had a case. And previously, he was a regional police officer. So which means he knows very well how to kill. Now, it comes out that he's a serial killer. Why? Because in the recent situation of bones, boiled bones and pieces of bodies and meat that was found in Langata, the CCTV investigations captured him coming out of a B&B. Those pieces, of course, will be from the city, of course, in the supermarket and then the B&B. It is clear that this is their own. So you actually realize that this man must have killed many people in Kenya, and he has not stayed in Kenya for over a year, but he had legal documents. Whose blame is this? Now, we don't have to keep blaming, but what should the government do to ensure that whoever gave that ID, and maybe others have been given to such people, should stop and should be facing the consequences of their action, because choices, they say, have consequences. So just look at that footage as I talk. Of course, I'm showing it there. And see the picture of this man, of course. And the first people whom he destroyed, a woman and two kids, the people who trusted him. This woman became sick, called him. He came with a taxi, carried her to, and then she disappeared. Then the daughters disappeared and they were found dead. And one hands were cut, another one raped, and then the neck twisted and thrown in different places. Now come to think of the other situation of a woman whom he demanded 1 million ransom for. Now we do not understand why he had to ask for a ransom, then came to dump that vehicle that is almost that amount. Is this a psychological aspect? Like if you look deep into psychology, violence comes from various aspects. We have theories that explain why some people can be that violent and then decide to continuously kill and derive pleasure from violence. Now, let's also look at the perspective of whether he was paid, as people are trying to insinuate that he was paid by the second wife to eliminate the first. If the second wife is indicated to be abroad, why would he want to eliminate this one and the kids? After all, among the Muslims, polygamy is a situation that is common. So what happened? What exactly was happening here? Now, these two theories are still not confirmed. So we are still waiting. But then the third case has risen, in which he killed this woman in a B&B. Now, what was the cause? And we do not have the family telling us about any ransom yet. But stay tuned so that as we continue following these stories, we find out. Now, the lessons that are important here is that I think B&Bs have become a situation in Kenya that are risky. And if we are not so familiar into the history of an individual, then we should avoid totally to go into such places with such people. The other thing is that we should not trust the taxi driver so much. Sometimes maybe it's even better to use different ways of ferrying ourselves into places than just sticking to one person whom we are not very sure. Because there are those people we are very sure about, maybe from deep down and from a long time, from a background, we know. But there's these others, we just trust them because they carried us one day. Then we begin trusting them and they continue carrying us. Because now this one, like, he was not even a Kenyan, though he had acquired documents. He is not a Kenyan, or he's not been in the country for long. So the trust that this lady and kids gave to this man is something we should not do. Trusting people we are not deep into. We don't know them very well. They might be of our origin, even of our tribe, but they speak our language. But then there is more to that. The other thing is that the government is messing us up, because if their officials are giving documents to such people, and these are criminals, then it means there is a gap in how investigations, or even, I don't know why vetting is conducted, because I was looking at the vetting that is conducted, and when people are getting IDs, and then I was seeing this as a raw deal. Then in the taxi operations, I think there should be a strict process that will ensure that we don't have people just operating vehicles in Nairobi or wherever, but they are not known. I think this, we have given corporate, or rather a union of taxi drivers. They should help us, because if they come together and they are keenly observing those who are operating, I think we shall avoid such situations. I've not heard the Matatus Association. I don't know whether the taxis lie under that or they are separate, but I should hear them talking and telling us what is the way forward now. Because cases of either people, like we saw the situation in which a lady in Mombasa was abducted, a vehicle picked, and then she was found dead. A taxi driver. Now in this situation, we've seen women picked, and then 3 of them killed. Another one picked, B&B, then killed. So ladies, let us not trust people so much. Even if you see them with wealth or vehicles or whatever, you don't run into engaging with them, getting to B&Bs before you understand deeply their background. And it should be a process. These things of now trusting that you can meet somebody today and tomorrow you are already in arms with them, it is becoming risky. Homicide cases, as you've heard, in 60 days, over 94 women have died in the hands of men. Some situations in which women have trusted men and they think they're in romantic relationships, only to end up in paper bags, in the toilet. Some of them, of course, we hear there are chemicals which can dissolve you and nobody will ever know where you went. You end up in a B&B, somebody rapes you and all that, then now they dissolve you and pour you in a toilet, so you just end up there. Nobody will know about you. So out of this, it's not something we're just talking about it, and I avoided talking about it so much so that I just reflect and see what can I come up with that will teach or help us. So if you've not subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing to it, and let's continue having more to do with the same situations and others. Bye-bye for now.